You'll never amount to anything, Liana. I set down my teacup, the rim clinking sharply against the table, the sound echoing through the living room. Across from me sat a face I once knew better than anyone, my father, his cold gaze stabbing at me like needles. My mother perched at the edge of the sofa, hands busy with her sewing, her eyes filled with judgment and impatience. And on the sofa slouched my brother, Carl, leaning against a cushion, a smirk curling at the corner of his mouth. I was 26, yet in this house, I always felt like the unwanted child. And today, he dismissed my very existence in the same tone he always used. I just think you should be practical, stop chasing daydreams, my father added, tapping the table as if trying to knock some sense, or compliance, into me. My mother snorted. Liana, you're always so sensitive. Look at your room, it's a mess. How can you even talk about being independent? Carl raised an eyebrow. Even if you move out, you won't last long. You'll be back sooner or later. The air seemed to freeze. That familiar weight pressed against my chest, contempt, ridicule, and dismissal that had followed me all my life. My hands trembled slightly, but my eyes were steady. I would no longer bow my head as I had in childhood. A few months later, I received an offer from a prestigious advertising firm in Portland for a senior strategist position. The salary alone was beyond anything I had imagined back home, but more importantly, it represented true independence. My heart raced, yet a calm clarity settled over me. I finally had the chance to prove myself. As the moving day approached, I packed my bags and reflected on years of being overlooked. As a child, I had spent every weekend trying to be noticed, helping Dad move tools, assisting Mom with housework, keeping track of Carl's toys. Every attempt to speak up was interrupted or ignored. When I won an art competition in elementary school, my parents were more concerned about Carl's soccer schedule. High school graduation brought a scholarship, yet it was treated as ordinary, because your grades are always stable, not exceptional. Every effort, every word I shared, felt like stones sinking into a bottomless well, no ripple, no acknowledgement. Now, with this job, I realized it was my chance not just for redemption but for revenge. I didn't act impulsively, I planned every step methodically. Before moving, I sent messages to my family. I'm moving to Portland for a new job. Responses were minimal. My mother replied with a brief, "Oh," my father didn't respond at all, and Carl sent a shrug emoji. I smirked internally. This was the experiment I had been waiting for, to see if they would even notice when I completely removed myself from their lives. On moving day, my car was packed with suitcases, each one heavy with years of unacknowledged effort. As I drove away, the familiar birch trees and streets faded in the rearview mirror. For a whole year, I didn't return, barely sent messages, and avoided family gatherings. My focus shifted entirely to work and life, and for the first time, I felt truly seen and heard. Portland was refreshing. I moved into a small apartment with a balcony overlooking the mist rising from the river in the morning. At work, my creativity and strategy skills were recognized in ways I had never experienced. Clients listened intently to my proposals, colleagues actively engaged in discussions. I joined a running club, made friends, and met Arthur, a man who genuinely listened. Every interaction that took me seriously felt like a balm to my old wounds. At the same time, I quietly began documenting everything. Every time my family mentioned my name and ignored my accomplishments, every feigned inquiry or hollow attention was recorded in notes or on my phone. I knew they had never truly understood or valued me, and this would become the foundation of my quiet revenge. Step 1: Silence as a weapon. Social media became my stage. I shared glimpses of my life in Portland, photos in the city center, weekends hiking with Arthur and friends, completing a marathon alone, each heartbeat and drop of sweat meticulously recorded. Every post was public enough for them to see, yet required no direct contact. Months later, the messages came, "You moved to Portland?" We had no idea. Shock, anger, disbelief threaded my mother's text. My father's question mark felt like a cold blade. Carl wrote, "Are you joking?" I didn't respond immediately. Instead, I orchestrated a chance encounter, ensuring they witnessed my independence and success firsthand. I curated professional achievements and social milestones, advertising awards, client letters, conference photos. Family members who prided themselves on being in the know began passing along updates. Slowly, they discovered my life not through me, but through my success. The highlight came during a family anniversary gathering. I had deliberately sent word I couldn't attend. That day, they saw me live streamed from an advertising awards ceremony in Portland, standing on stage, lights flashing, applause ringing. My mother froze, my father stiffened, and Carl's smirk vanished. They tried calls and messages, but I remained calm, responding minimally, leaving space for them to feel helpless. Then I escalated. Sharing work updates in the family chat with understated phrasing, letting them realize the past neglect. Inviting them to Portland, but only for public events, showing my independence without dependence. Showcasing social and professional life to highlight what they had missed. After several weeks, panic set in. Messages came more frequently, revealing desperation beneath thinly veiled concern. My mother even pleaded, "Liana, what have you been doing? We need to know." I replied calmly, "Your concern now is not love, it's fear of losing me." Carl called, voice trembling, "Liana, we never really noticed you." I don't know what to do. I let silence hang for a few seconds, then said steadily, "Now you understand. Being ignored isn't imaginary, it's real. If you want to know my life, first learn to listen, to pay attention, not scramble at the last minute." Even my parents showed unease and guilt. Mother's texts trembled, I didn't realize how much I neglected you." I didn't respond immediately, letting them feel the emptiness of their oversight. In a planned video call, I appeared with a bright background, professional awards on the wall, notebooks neatly arranged. Every word, every movement conveyed, I am no longer the overlooked child, I am competent, independent, and influential. My mother's voice wavered, my father was speechless, and Carl scratched his head helplessly. They understood that my life no longer depended on their attention, and that their past neglect had irrevocable consequences. Finally, kneeling figuratively before the screen, they sought forgiveness. I said firmly, "Your neglect is documented. You can choose to change, to listen and engage, but I will no longer exist for your attention. Your fear of losing me is yours, not mine." Days later, life returned to Portland. Walking with Arthur along the river, sunlight reflecting off the water, I felt a sense of completeness. Photos of me at work, laughing with friends, living fully, filled my social feeds. My family adjusted, still reaching out, but I had seized control. My revenge wasn't humiliation, it was the quiet demonstration of my real life, leaving them in powerless anger and fear, forced to confront the cost of ignoring me. Standing on the balcony, Portland's evening breeze brushing my hair, city lights twinkling, years of neglect dissolved. I no longer depended on them for validation. I am seen. I am valued. And this time, no one can take that away.